The year is 1935, and you see an advertisement that says, "Smoke a fresh cigarette." This was commonplace in the 30s through the 50s. Cigarettes were actually marketed as healthy, and it wasn't until after that fact that all of a sudden, like the flip of a switch, cigarettes were no longer healthy. It's pretty confusing, isn't it? Now fast forward to 2019. Where are we at with vaping? We'll be talking about that today on TDI Live. So today is actually Monday, September the 23rd. We're pre-recording this. I will be out of town this week at a trade show. But today you're going to hear a little bit about a snake latching onto a guy's head. It's pretty entertaining. Do water turtles make good pets? And in our conspiracy moment, you're going to hear a little bit about the new vaping, the new danger in vaping, which is all of a sudden new. So I'm Matt.
And I'm Bill.
And I'm Heather.
And you are listening to TDI Live.
Hear the singing of 1,000 tongues.
So what's new in the world of TDI? This last weekend, Eric and I were down at the Show Me Snakes show in Springfield, Missouri. It was a great turnout. Miss Stephanie could not join us this time. That's typically our trio, myself, Eric, and Stephanie, but she's been a little under the weather and needed to hang behind. So Eric and I went down there and rock and rolled it. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the 24th, I fly to Cleveland. I've got a trade show for the garden industry. So we'll be out there looking for some new product to bring in for our living vivariums, and that'll be 3 days. So Stephanie and I will be gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, hence why we are pre-recording now. And that's going to be the big thing for TDI in the next 7 days. So, Heather, tell us a little bit about this video. What's going on here?
Okay, so kind of like what we were talking about last week, it kind of shows you like how when a snake will bite you. This video shows a guy. He has I'm not sure what kind of I think it's some constrictor of some sort.
It's a retic.
It's a retic.
It's a retic.
Reticulated python.
Oh, it's a reticulated python.
Can you play? Do you have the video up where we can watch it and talk about it? I know you guys can't see it. So where is this? Is this on Facebook?
It looks like
yes, it's on Facebook.
So if somebody wanted to search for this video, is there a title to the video?
It's under the username Reptile Hunter.
Okay, so we're watching this. It's a young guy, and he's holding a retic in his hand. There's no sound, otherwise we would feed the sound into this. And the snake's got its mouth opened up at about a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
This is great.
And he's like blowing on it and jerking his head back so the snake don't bite him. See, this is why you don't. I don't know.
Don't act the idiot.
Exactly.
So so he's blowing in the
Stupid
snake's
is
face.
as stupid does.
It's kind of snapping at him, and then he decides, after the snake is nice and pissed off, to lay the snake's face on his head. Yeah, it just happened. The snake bites the top of his skull and literally latches onto it.
You can't get it off.
Oh man, that's good stuff. And so he's standing up, he's freaking out, he's trying to like pull it off of his head.
Which is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not coming off.
What is
Because that snake is about,
Look at that, guys. It's a baby skunk.
man,
We've
I
got
would
to get
say
him out of here. He's gonna die.
It looked like it was about a
7
6
foot.
to
Another
8
one
foot
up
retic, and a 6 to an 8 foot retic. I mean, they pack a bite.
Yeah.
And I think I had got when we had that retic back in the day, I had got bit by him, and yeah, he was probably about 6 to 8 foot, somewhere in there.
When
and,
you got him?
yeah, well, when we got him, he was a baby.
rid of him, he was bigger than 6 or 8.
No, when we got rid of him, he was pushing the legal limit. He was massive,
Yeah.
and he was angry. And I remember we had got him as a baby. We had got 2 retics to sell, and they're like 20 inches, 24 inches right out of the egg. You know, eating rat pups, adult mice.
Right.
And this thing, I mean, his feeding response was voracious. And,
remember we put him in the bin and just throw the rabbit in there and let
I'd throw it in and jump back like it was going
Yeah.
to explode. And he'd hit that bin so hard and grab onto it. And so this particular snake bite video, it's kind of funny. Obviously, this was a defensive response, but it looked like a feeding response the way he latched onto that dude's head.
Yeah. Well, the snake's, it looks a little on the thin side, too, so, I mean, but I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, you hear that a lot. When Aphrodite died, Aphrodite was our large Burmese python, for those of you that don't know. And we were looking to replace it with some sort of retic, like a dwarf retic or a super dwarf retic. and we were up at the NARBC show in Tinley Park, Illinois, and I remember talking to a retic breeder, and I'm not super familiar with the dwarf species, and I was like, hey, you know, how quick and how big will it grow? And their response was, well, just don't feed it that much, and it won't grow that big that quick. I'm like, you're a freaking moron. Like, this is going to be in our education program. There's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's take a large snake and underfeed it so that it's conveniently small for us, and then it latches onto someone's head.
Well, there's a dwarf, and then there's a super dwarf. So
Yeah.
supposedly the dwarf get about 10 foot, and then the super dwarf's about maybe 6 to 8 foot. But I've never worked with them, so I mean, I know a few people that have them, but I mean, who's to say that you get this snake and it's not a true
Well,
dwarf
that's the
or
other
super
thing.
dwarf?
Yeah, you don't know. You just have to trust the person you're buying it from.
Yeah.
You know, and trust that they're not trying to sling a
Because
frickin'
they cost more money than.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they could be trying to sling a full retic at a super dwarf price, and
Right.
You're not going to know until all of a sudden you got a 30-foot snake.
Yep.
It's like, define super dwarf. 30 foot.
It's like a super dwarf elephant. How big would that be?
So yeah, that was a fun video that Heather found today, and just kind of something going on in the world of reptiles. Foolish people doing foolish things to primitive animals that respond to instinct,
Yeah, it amuses me, and I get.
and then they blame it on the animal.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
kill the
so
animal.
hilarious when people mess with an animal and end up getting bit or something. I think it's
Oh, it's entertainment in
priceless.
its purest
and it's
form.
like you got what you deserved.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. I call it natural selection,
Exactly.
survival of the fittest.
Yep. We
All
got
right.
the stupid ones.
So moving away from stupid people, let's talk about water turtles making great beginner pets. And I think this is, Heather, this is a fantastic topic. I'm glad you picked this one. So, man, I'll start with this, but you guys chime in at any time. We don't sell water turtles anymore. And I think the biggest problem with selling water turtles for pets or aquatic turtles is that there's this notion that the way they were taken care of when we were kids, 20, 30 years ago, is the way it should be done. And that's obviously very complicated because I know when I was a child, and hell, when Bill was a child, I mean, you didn't even have
Yeah.
electricity. So,
Nope.
but when I was a child, I mean, you just put it into a bowl or a dish, and that was it.
Yep.
And you had the turtle lagoons back then, right?
Yeah, the little plastic thing with like a little palm tree.
Yeah. And the problem with it is that, aquatic turtles are a diurnal species, so they're awake during the day. So at minimum, they need access to a heat source and a UVB source. They need water, and to keep this simple, let's talk about red-eared sliders specifically, because obviously,
That's the big one.
yeah, and what I'm talking about, there's no generalized care,
Because
for
we
all
get customers
species.
that come up, they take a vacation to Florida, and they buy one of these Raider sliders, and they bring it up here, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
want to know, and it's like, then they realize, maybe,
I mean, you need the filtration, you need water that they can swim in, not float in. Keep in mind, this is an aquatic turtle that swims in water. It also needs land to bask, and on its basking spot, you need the heat and the UVB. Your average proper setup for a red-eared slider is about $250, $200 to $300 if you want to have kind of a range in there.
Yeah.
And we tell people that, and they start immediately. They go to, oh, you're just trying to make a sale.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, we're trying to protect you from your own ignorance.
Yeah.
You fool. I mean, and it caused so much stress with our staff. I mean, when someone came in to buy a red-eared slider, a $13 red-eared slider, you knew it was going to be a fight because we had to convince people that, hey, everything you know is wrong. The industry has evolved. Science has changed. We've learned more. And this $13 turtle will cost you $300.
Yep.
And, they argue with you. And I always like to use the asbestos example is,
Well, that's a good.
yeah, how long did we put
analogy.
asbestos in houses before we realized it made people sick? Or take the story here at the beginning. Shit, we prescribed cigarettes to people. Heroin used to be prescribed medication.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things that we used to do. I mean, let's go back to Egyptian times. 13-year-old girls bore children.
Yep.
Doesn't mean we still do it. Doesn't mean it's a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of things that we as a society have done that are not a good idea. So, here we are in 2019. Our industry is far more advanced, far more informed, and we now know that water turtles require specialized care, and it's a fight, man.
Yeah, and then when you don't take proper care of them, then you run the risk of having a serious salmonella.
Yeah, the filth in the tank, and
Yeah, and that's.
yeah, then
we
there's that.
We can't sell legally. We can't sell turtles under 4 inches. And I don't really know. I'm pretty sure that it was the salmonella issue, but
Yeah,
it's
it was
like,
an FDA law from the 70s.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well,
Food and Drug Administration. That's where it came from.
A baby turtle is going to have just as much salmonella as a 4-inch turtle. You know.
Well, what was happening was kids were putting them in their mouth and catching
Yeah.
salmonella. So instead of the FDA saying, "Oh man, we've got a stupid parent problem," they're like, "Oh, we'll just ban the turtles."
Yeah.
It's kind of like the snake, you know, or like when a dog bites somebody, kill the
Yeah.
dog. It's like, no, man,
Yeah,
kill the human.
that's
Kill the
how
idiot.
it usually goes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So instead of addressing the issue at the source, we punish the animal for it.
Yeah, because when I was younger, the stupid ones ended up killing themselves. So that was, you weed out that bad gene out of.
Oh man, this is turning into a violent podcast.
Oh,
Disclaimer.
boy.
This is the dumb people.
Yeah, we
podcast.
didn't wear helmets when we rode bicycles, and
Yeah, because if you were an idiot, it sorted itself out.
we had these things called jarts, and they were like a
Jart?
big giant dart that you would throw.
Oh, the
and-
yard darts.
Yard darts, yeah.
And
remember
they
those.
were, people were getting killed with those, and then we had these things called click clacks, and there was these two like plastic balls on a string, and you would like.
Oh, yeah,
wave
I
them.
remember those.
People were using them as bolos and hitting people in the face, or they would shatter, and it was great.
I remember throwing a broomstick through my sister's bicycle spokes when she was riding it once.
Oh, no.
Front wheel or back wheel?
Oh, I don't remember. I was a kid. Either way, she bit it. She bit the dust.
That'll work. That definitely.
I remember that scene on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He threw the flagpole through the motorcycle spoke. It was awesome. It always made me think of when I was a kid and I did that to my sister. So, the question here is, do water turtles make great beginner pets? And I'm not going to say no, they don't. You just need to be fully aware of what they require. And what I always tell people is like, hey, a water turtle in particular isn't necessarily an animal you should handle a lot because they swim in their own feces.
Yeah.
Even with that filter, there's still fecal material in that water.
Yeah.
And the salmonella is passed in their feces. So if you take this turtle out and let it crawl around your carpet, now you've got little bits of feces on your carpet, salmonella. Then you lay on that same carpet to watch TV at night and you're laying in a cesspool of salmonella and poop.
And they're not really. I mean, some of them will be, but most of the time they'll bite. It's not like you're gonna, have this cuddly pet.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, a water turtle does make a really cool pet, but I wouldn't consider a beginner pet, and I definitely wouldn't say it's a good first pet for a child because a child's going to want to interact with the animal.
Exactly.
I would go with a land tortoise, which the land tortoise is significantly more expensive for the animal. Same cost to set it up, but your maintenance cost over the life of the animal is a fraction.
And they're more sociable.
Yeah, they're sociable, and they poop and walk away from it. They don't
Yeah.
poop and they don't poop in the bathtub, you know? I mean...
Because it's like
I don't
our
poop in the
redfoots,
bathtub.
like our adult redfoots, they're like dogs. I mean, they'll
Yeah.
come up to you and...
And they poop and walk away from it, just like your
Yep.
dog does.
Yep.
So when we were at Super Zoo a couple weeks ago, they had like a big dog training thing, and this guy, it was a law enforcement dog, but the dog pooped. The guy picked it up in the bag, gave it to the dog, and the dog took the bag and went and put it in the trash can.
What
It
a
was the
good dog.
coolest thing.
What a
That's
good
cool.
doggy.
I was like, damn, I can't even get my kids to not pee on the toilet seat, let alone go bring
Oh my
their poop
God.
to the trash can.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add on water turtles making good pets?
No, that's pretty much it. There are people that will, spend the money to set them up right. Because I know we had a customer come in. She was military and she was getting transferred overseas, and she had a red air slider and the whole setup, and she was so particular about who she gave it to. And I mean, the setup she had, I bet you it was $400 or $500 worth of stuff plus the turtle. But she was so concerned about that turtle going to a good home, and that they wasn't going to abuse it, or they wasn't going to just flip it and then keep all the stuff and then. But I don't know whatever happened to that.
Yeah.
But because I
hard,
talked
man.
to her for a while about it.
So, conspiracies. I guess we're gonna talk about vaping and how it was the safest thing you could do a few years ago, and all of a sudden now it's dangerous and
Yeah.
everyone's dying. What are your thoughts on this, Bill? Do you see a conspiracy laced in here somewhere? No pun intended.
Well, the way my mind works, and then when this first started, I was like, this sounds like a conspiracy with the tobacco companies with disinformation on vaping. And they're just coming up with these stories, making it sound like it's, such a horrible thing. But I know people that have been vaping for almost 10 years. and no issues. And I've had several people that I know that's how they quit smoking cigarettes. And I smoke cigarettes, and it's hard to quit. And
You did quit once, and then you started again.
Yeah, well,
in celebration of
stress
quitting.
factor.
Celebratory smoke.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if they ever figured out why. If there was any link to all the deaths.
But there's not really that many deaths in the grand scheme of things coming out of this. I mean, there's
and
like
the
less
thing
than 100.
with like tobacco, smoking cigarettes, it's a long-term, it's a long-term health thing. You don't smoke a couple cigarettes and then die. But
well, you could, but that might be like a car accident or
yeah. Well, I don't
brain aneurysm. It's
I don't
not
know anybody that
related.
smoked a couple cigarettes and went out and killed a family of 4. Now, alcohol, I've heard quite a few stories about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Not unless it's
So you
something
think the tobacco
in the formula
companies
with the the formula, the different flavors or something that might have been contaminated. But
So do you think the tobacco companies are trying to push people back onto tobacco and off of vaping?
I think so.
Like using scare tactics?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know if I really have a thought on this being a conspiracy. I could see that because...
Well,
I
I
mean,
thought about that, and then I had seen a few other people, pretty much, suggest the same thing. And but I'm sure that these tobacco companies have, they either own part of the vaping, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if somebody's involved in it.
Yeah,
what
it's
is their
just
stake
it's just
in vaping?
really weird that all of a sudden there's this big issue. And honestly, as many people that are vaping, and I don't know how many people have died. I think maybe 5 or 6. I could be wrong.
I think it's been more than that.
More than that.
But either way, in the grand scheme of things, we're talking minimal compared to tobacco and alcohol.
Yeah, and again, it's a long term.
Bear attacks.
With the long term
Meteor
smoking
strikes.
cigarettes and stuff, and it's not so much the
Lightning
nicotine
strikes.
in cigarettes that's a problem. It's all the other stuff they put in the cigarettes to, make it addictive and
Well, shit,
all
man, you
this
should
other
be
stuff.
rolling like some straight up cigarettes, Bill, and then you'd live forever, probably.
Well, I
Think
don't know.
about,
The
like,
Indians
those-
used to smoke tobacco all the time,
Yeah.
but they didn't have all the other crap.
They didn't cut it
That-
with cancer.
Yeah,
like we do.
it's. I mean, I can't even remember how many other toxins are in commercial tobacco, but it's stupid.
Thankfully, I never smoked, man. I tried when I was in college. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
I
that-
overdid it, though. Like, I didn't smoke at all, and then I smoked a pack of cigarettes in one sitting.
Yeah, that'll make you very ill.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible, and I
Yeah.
never smoked again.
Well,
That's good.
I have an excessive personality.
I slow down, and then sometimes if I get stressed out, then I tend to smoke more. But I'd like to quit. I'd like to just completely quit. Like, I quit drinking, just cold turkey. It didn't bother me, and it's been over 15 years. But man, cigarettes is like...
I quit drinking last week, and then I celebrated on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with some drinks, and I'm probably going to celebrate later today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, and Wednesday and Thursday. Actually, I'm going to celebrate for like the next 10 days, and then I'll quit.
Yeah.
And I got to stay motivated, man. # goals.
Yeah, I
I like
lived
alcohol.
with a psychotic drunk for 10 years.
Yeah, I am the psychotic drunk. No,
That kind
kidding.
of turned me
I'm
on
not a
to it.
drunk.
I get
Denial.
nowadays. After that, I get anxieties being
Where are we
around
with
people
this?
that drink. It's horrible.
# vaping conspiracy. All right, so if you vape, you're going to die. If you smoke, you're going to die. If you drink, you're going to die. And if you're totally healthy, guess what? You're still going to die.
Yeah.
So-
If you drink the tap water, you're going to die.
Yeah.
If you breathe the air, you're going to die. If you eat the food, you're going to die.
If you go outside, you'll die.
Yep.
I like when people say, if I die.
Put on
It's
your
like-
respirator and your
It's
gas
like,
mask.
actually, sir, you're going to die. You hear that when people are talking about life insurance a lot. They're like, well, if I die. And it's like, no, when you die. Anyway, a lot of death today. Heather, what do you have for us? Speaking
Okay,
of death.
so we're going to play another game of Would You Rather.
Sweet.
All right. So, would you rather be able to control animals but not humans with your mind, or control electronics with your mind?
I would rather control animals. I'm not really an electronic type of person.
So, like, I can control any electronic device anywhere in the world, or do I have to be within, like, 20 feet of it? Or
I don't know. I
It
guess
doesn't say.
either
Then
or.
I'm going to, you know what? Due to the lack of information, I'm going to make an assumption I can control any electronic device, in which case, sign me up. I'll control electronics.
I'll control animals.
Yeah?
I like animals better.
If we
than
join our
electronics.
forces, Bill, we could take over the world. I'll control
Yeah,
the
we
satellites, and you control...
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Did you...
could get a whole herd of elephants to attack somebody.
Have you seen that? There's that meme out there about the cocaine bear. It was some black bear that ate like 15 pounds of cocaine that it had
Oh my
found,
gosh,
and it
yeah.
went like fucking ape shit.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my
and then
God.
died.
So, yeah.
And the way they worded it, it was hilarious. They said that, during the 10 minutes before its heart exploded, it was the most fearsome apex predator known man.
Oh man.
So I just made me
Oh
think of that.
god.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. The next one is: would you rather give up watching TV/movies for a year, or give up playing games for a year?
That's easy. Games.
I don't do either one really.
Yeah,
I mean,
I used to
give
game
up
a lot.
games because I don't play games.
Define game. Now I'd go with games.
Because I haven't had a TV in probably over 12 years.
How long has it been since you've had a bed?
Poor Bill.
Probably about the same. Yeah.
Bill has a couch in
No.
his house.
he likes
actually-
to sleep on his couch.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, about 12, 13 years.
So if you
Sleep on a couch.
if you have a woman come over, you're just like, hey,
Women don't come over my
Yeah.
house.
What about men?
Men don't come over my house.
Poor Bill.
Yeah, I'm a hermit.
Hermit crab. You are a hermit crab. You're so
Yeah.
crabby.
I'm a hermit, and I'm a antisocial
Crab,
introvert, I guess is what they call them.
also known as a crab.
I like it though.
All right. The next one is: would you rather be able to go to any theme park in the world for free for the rest of your life, or eat for free at any drive-through restaurant for the rest of your life?
I would eat for free.
I would too. I don't go to theme parks and I don't eat fast food anymore.
I do, but
But
I
I
do
mean, I'm
occasionally.
surprised
I
with
would-
Matt.
yeah.
I would take the food though.
Oh man, a Disney annual pass isn't that bad. It's like $1,000 for an annual pass for an out of state, and sounds like a lot of money, but man, a one-day ticket is $200. Riddle me that.
Yeah.
So
When I was younger, I used to get season passes to Six Flags.
I bought a season pass to Six Flags once, and I went one time and never went back. I don't do roller coasters, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm surprised Stephanie didn't walk out on me that day.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like,
Did you vomit all over?
no,
Or you
I
just
rode her.
refused?
I just, man, I don't like heights. It scares the hell out of me. So
All right, the last one is: would you rather live your entire life in a virtual reality where all your wishes are granted, or just in the normal real world?
I'd go with the normal real
I
world.
would too. Normal real.
Although, according to the Matrix, this might be VR minus the wishes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Have you seen that Family Guy episode where Peter finds the genie? He gets 3 wishes, and he wishes to have theme music everywhere he goes. Made me think about it. I was at Target yesterday, and there was this dude walking through Target. I swear to God, this fool has like some house music playing on his phone while he's walking through Target. It's like, and the dude's like shopping. I'm like, what are you doing? His kids are with him. I'm like so embarrassed for his kids. I'm like, sorry guys, this isn't like,
Yeah.
this isn't what a father should be doing. You know?
That wasn't the one where he turned everybody into Robin Williams, was it?
What?
I don't,
Peter Griffin.
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember. I just
don't-
remember he had theme music, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one.
But yeah, I'm going to go with the real world.
Me too.
All right. Well, you guys have anything else you want to add to the podcast?
I think that's about it.
For those of you who've never been able to see this, there's actually a 4th person in this room that's always super quiet in the corner. It's Chelsea. She's on our marketing team.
Yeah, she's very, very
Chelsea, you want to say anything to the world over there?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
She's good.
She says she's good.
She's over there working on our Tuesday tips, and what else are you working on?
Hashtags.
Hashtags? Hashtag.
Twitter.
Yep, hashtags on Twitter.
She's like so nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Like unlike some other people, slamming doors. And,
Yeah. I put a sign up that says quiet please, and people walk in and they're like, what? What? Smash! Smash! Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
opening the,
and then the microwave.
open the microwave and slamming the door. And
Yeah.
beep, 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 beep.
We need to
beep,
move
beep,
this out of the office someday and into a soundproof room. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Remember, you can find us pretty much on all the main social outlets out there. We're on, I always mess it up, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. What am I forgetting?
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
You always forget YouTube.
Yeah, the podcast syncs to YouTube. check us out. Look up TDI Live. It is Tye-Dyed Iguana's official podcast. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Matt,
And I'm Bill.
And I'm Heather.
and you are listening to TDI Live. Thank you for listening to Tye-Dyed Iguana's podcast, TDI Live. And don't forget to visit us on the web at www.thetdi.com.
It's the best day